It's interesting, right? It really took the world by storm. I think that contrast, the way the show puts innocent childhood games against this like brutal fight for survival is super attention grabbing.
It's like you're watching and you
Mm.
can't help but put yourself in those situations. Like, what would I do if I was facing those challenges?
It makes you think.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you add in like that massive cash prize, that 45.6 billion.
That's $40 million.
Yeah, crazy money. I think it just makes the whole thing feel so real. Like you can understand the players' desperation.
For sure. And speaking of the players, the characters in Squid Game are such a huge part of why the show works so well. Each one has this really unique story that explains, like, why they're willing to risk it all.
Totally. Take Song Gi-hoon, player 456, for example. Divorced dad, struggling with debt, trying to get custody of his daughter. He sees the games as, like, his only shot at redemption.
It's so heartbreaking. Taps into this universal fear of not being able to provide for your family.
Right.
And then there's Cho Sang-woo, player 218, Gi-hoon's former classmate.
Oh, yeah, the one who graduated from SNU.
Yep, a brilliant mind, but now on the run from the police for financial crimes.
Like a total fall from grace. It really highlights the insane pressure to succeed in South Korea. It's like a dark side of ambition, chasing success no matter what. We were talking about how much you love the show's social commentary. Do you see any parallels there? Like in your own life, the pressure to achieve?
That's a good question. I mean, I think on some level, we all feel that pressure to succeed. And then you have King Se-byok, player 067. She's a North Korean defector, and she's trying to reunite with her family.
And build a better future.
Exactly.
It's a story of resilience, right? Like unwavering love for family. You just want her to succeed.
Yeah, you're totally rooting for her.
Even though, she's facing impossible odds. And then there's player 001. Oh, Il-num. Probably one of the most shocking plot twists I've ever seen.
Oh my God, I know. When it was revealed that he was the game's creator,
Yeah.
it blew my mind. He starts
Yes.
off as this like frail old man, and you can't help but feel bad for him. Then, bam, total 180.
It changes everything, right? Like it adds this whole new layer to the show's commentary on like power manipulation.
That makes you question everything.
Definitely.
And then there's the front man, the overseer of the games.
Shrouded in mystery.
Totally.
Then, bam, he's Hwang Jun-ho's brother and a past winner himself.
It's wild.
So many layers.
Makes you think about the choices we make under pressure. Like, would you be able to hold on to your morals in a situation like that?
Yeah, it's a tough question. And we haven't even gotten to the games themselves, which are, what everyone remembers about Squid Game.
Right. That brutality, the suspense, you can feel it in every round.
They're visually stunning, too. Like, each game is designed to exploit the player's weaknesses. Like, red light, green light, for example. It's not even just about speed. It's about that fear of making, one mistake. And then there's that giant doll.
Terrifying, right?
I know. Who knew a children's game could be so scary?
Totally. And the Dalgona candy game. Extracting shapes from that honeycomb. So much pressure.
It's brilliant, though, how they use these simple games because the rules are easy to understand. So you could just focus on the players and like the choices they're making under pressure.
Like a microcosm of society, right?
Exactly.
Forced to make impossible choices.
Yeah, I think that's where the real horror lies. It's not just the violence, it's the psychological aspect.
It's like, do you cooperate or do you betray? Sacrifice yourself or others.
Yeah.
It makes you think about what you would do.
Totally. It's one of those shows that really gets under your skin and stays with you. It really makes you think about like how far you'd go in a similar situation. Would you like betray someone to survive?
It's a question with no easy answer.
Yeah.
I think Squid Game also does a great job of critiquing capitalism, like showing the dark side of a system that preys on vulnerable people.
Oh, for sure. The VIPs, those wealthy spectators betting on the players' lives, they're chilling. Like a reminder of the messed up power dynamics in our world.
They're just so detached from the suffering, it's disturbing. It's just entertainment for them. Makes you wonder if we're all kind of becoming desensitized to the struggles of others.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in your own life and forget what other people are dealing with.
Squid Game doesn't let you forget, though.
No, it doesn't.
It forces you to confront those uncomfortable truths about society.
Yeah, and the show explores the consequences of those choices too, right? We see how the players change, how their humanity kind of breaks down as they fight to survive.
They're pushed to their limits.
Absolutely. Like, it's a reminder of what we can lose when we put our own self-interest above everything else. It's a reflection of our anxieties, the desperation, the fear, always having to compete. We all deal with that, even if the stakes aren't as high.
That's so true. I wanted to ask about the global impact of the show. Why do you think Squid Game resonated with so many people around the world?
I think it taps into a global anxiety about, like, economic inequality,
Yeah.
that fear of scarcity, and what we'll do for a chance at a better life. We talked about how much the themes of the show resonate with you. Did any particular characters or their struggles stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people feel stuck in a system that feels rigged against them, whether it's the economic system, education, whatever. And Squid Game captures that feeling of powerlessness.
And it starts a conversation about it.
Yeah, which is important.
More than just entertainment, it's social commentary.
Right. And a really necessary one. Squid Game asks these big questions about morality, ethics, and what kind of world we're creating. It's not always easy to watch, but
But it's important.
exactly. One thing that struck me was how, even with all the brutality, there are still moments of compassion, like characters sacrificing themselves to help others.
Yeah, those moments are really powerful. They show that even in the darkest situations, there's still hope.
It makes you wonder, are those sacrifices ultimately pointless, even if it costs them their lives?
I mean, it's a tough question. Often those sacrifices lead to tragic outcomes, saving one life while countless others are still lost.
And the system doesn't change.
Right. But it does offer hope. It shows that human connection and compassion can exist even in the worst situations. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to inspire change.
Even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
Exactly. And I think those ripples of hope are what make the series so emotionally powerful. There's a glimmer of optimism, even in a dystopian world.
So even though Squid Game paints this pretty bleak picture of humanity, it also reminds us that we're capable of good, that we can choose compassion over self-preservation.
And those choices matter, even if there's not always a happy ending.
So we've talked about the games, the characters, the shocking twists, and the deeper messages of Squid Game. It's definitely more than just your average show. It's gotten people talking.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a reflection of our times, right? A warning about greed and what happens when we lose our empathy.
What are you most looking forward to in season 3?
Oh, that's a good question. I think seeing Gi-hun go up against the whole organization behind the games, like how do you even begin to take down something that big? Especially after everything he's been through.
I know, right? And we still need to learn more about the front man. Season 2 gave us some backstory, but there's still so many questions.
Totally. Like what motivates him? What's his relationship with his brother really like?
And with the new characters and challenges coming in season 3, it feels like anything could happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. New alliances, maybe? Or will the players find a way to fight back? I can't wait to see what happens.
Me neither. But even as we wait for the final season, Squid Game makes us think about some important stuff, like how much are we willing to sacrifice to achieve our goals?
That's a big one. The characters in the show are constantly wrestling with that, sacrificing their morals, their relationships, even their lives for that prize money.
It shows how ambition can be a good thing, but it can also lead to bad choices.
Right, and it's not just the players. The organizers, the guards, everyone involved has made compromises to get where they are.
It makes you think about the choices we make in our own lives, the things we're willing to ignore to get ahead.
Definitely. And Squid Game shows us the consequences of those choices, how the players lose their humanity as they get more desperate.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale.
But we also see those moments of compassion, right, where people choose to help others instead of just looking out for themselves.
Those moments are so important. They remind us that there's another way, that we can hold on to our values even when things are tough.
Those are the moments that really stick with you, that give you hope, even in a dark world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Squid Game, I think it's clear that it's much more than just an entertaining show. It's a reflection of our own anxieties, our fears, and our capacity for both good and evil.
Yeah, it reminds us that we have choices to make. The world of Squid Game might be fictional, but the questions it asks are very real.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on everything we've discussed today. And as we wait for season 3, think about this. If you were in Gi-hun's position, how would you try to dismantle the games? What would you do to create a fairer world? Thanks for joining us.